Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. We are in the second part of our program, and the second part of our program is always pure politics. And the topic is speak and defend yourself. Speak and give up yourself or go in the rain. We encourage you to share our program. We are the new kid on the block. Share our program. Like our program. Subscribe to Studio Galaxy. Even if you disagree with our program, discuss it with others. Share it with them. They may disagree too. What we do, we provoke discussion on our program. You could challenge us. You don't have to agree with us. But we believe strongly in the democratic system, we must have discussion. You must know my views. And I should know yours. Sometimes when we put a view or a position or a suggestion on the table, the suggestion becomes better after people take issue with it and modify it and rearrange it and change it. So this morning, the topic is speak and defend yourself. Speak and give up yourself or go in the rain. And remember, the number to call is 410-3030. Over the last 10 years in Grenada, or over the last 2 terms of the NNP, I thought that was the best attempt at governance. Why do I say that? None of the ministers during the last 2 terms of NNP, over the last 10 years, brought the party into disrepute. None of the ministers you could have pointed finger at and say they were corrupt. All the ministers of NNP, from Kate Lewis to Kit Mitchell, they seem to be very tolerant to criticism. They seem to live very frugal lives. They exhibited a high level of humility. And they readily interacted with the public. They had cabinet press conferences every week. After they come out on cabinet on Monday, I believe, they had their press conference. They had some quarterly, Kit Mitchell had some quarterly issues where he opened himself to discussion from people. All the ministers was ready. During the period of COVID-19, I had a lot of appreciation for them. Mr. Steele was on the radio daily. Pierre on education. Miss Modest. These people seems as if they was hungry to provide information for people. And I thought this is the right trajectory, the right trend. Michael Battis always said, eggs have no place in rock stone dance. And he considered politics as rock stone. And I like that. I believe politicians must not have thin skin. Politicians have a lot of power. And if they put their head together, they have real power. So the skin must not be thin. So I like to provoke politicians a little, particularly when they new, to see how thin the skin is, to know if you must support them. Otherwise, they could be vengeful. They could be bitter. And they could affect you seriously. And I was extremely comfortable with the NNP team. Yolan Bain Hasford, always involved with the elderly and vagrants. I don't know if it's because she liked flowers, but there is something serene and gentle and forgiving and inclusive about this sister. And the mere fact that others younger than her in her company, that character would have a rippling effect. Miss Modest, a public officer, a medical doctor, but she right in Victoria with her people. Pierre, all the individuals involved in NNP then, I did not believe that they were vindictive. And human beings have the natural tendency to hit back. They was criticized brutally. I listened to some of the NDC political mouthpiece, the politicos, are those who speak and we believe, based upon what they say, they back in NDC. It's the same thing we do with NNP now. When you hear certain people speak on the radio, you say NNP paying them, that is NNP. The same thing with NDC. But some of the words, some of the utterances, some of the expressions that come from these NDC are perceived, or NDC politicals, or NDC mouthpiece was unacceptable. They encourage people to burn bags. They cuss the church. They say the church sucking the anus of NNP. Well, individuals could say what they want, but a political party must not endorse. You could say what you want. I am on radio, and if you believe that I have a natural inclination to support NNP, NNP not supposed to endorse things that I say that is fractious and demeaning and could break up the country like a cracks. NDC personnel never object to the Prince of Hate and the most fractious motivational speaker. No political party should endorse these individuals. Yes, you could have them supporting you, but you must not endorse them. NDC crowned the Prince of Hate. They was playing games with one of the minister's name because she was not fluent. She was not a great speaker as Morris Bishop or Ben Jones or Henry Ford, and calling her Damas. They didn't even have respect for the women. They terrorized the women. And NDC endorsed that. They terrorized the spouse and the children of individuals. And NDC endorsed that. The National Democratic Congress brought respect to the lowest ebb in our country. During that period, I had great respect for Andrew Donald on Real FM. He's the only journalist out here declared himself as supporting a particular party. He says he's an NNP supporter. Yet he demanded respect from those who come on his radio program for all the politicians, including Tillman Thomas, including Franca Bonadine. And I think some of the names are calling here, I believe they actually went on his radio program while he declared himself as an NNP supporter. Qualis, Sylvester Qualis, Terry, Patrick Simmons, they went on his radio station. And he demanded anyone who comes on his radio station to have great respect for them. Unlike the Prince of Hate, the most fractious motivational speaker. So when I hear members of NDC talking about respect now, you're supposed to go and hide yourself in a hole. You have not shown respect to anybody. And even those individuals now who on radio, who you could well claim are not supporting the National Democratic Congress based upon the questions they are asking. They show great respect for the players. Now we have Deacon Mitchell, the Prime Minister of Grenada. And the Prime Minister introduced and established a policy that information is based upon need to know. He never said that during the campaign. During the campaign, he was speaking about freedom of information. And the favorite journalist that he said, the Dr. Bob and some other sister, Talisha, that he was chastising the previous Prime Minister for not going on the program. He promised them freedom of information. He lied to the journalists. Deacon Mitchell has lied to every individual, every sector of society. He told lies to the journalists. He lied to the children. He lied to the physically challenged. He lied to the elderly. He told lies to the Imani. He lied to workers on contract. And he went into United Nations and deceived the Haitians, the children of Christophe. And yet, Deacon Mitchell is hiding from information. He is hiding information from the public. He's not telling them the truth. You see, when he speaks to me and others, he is not speaking to intellectuals. We are ordinary rustic of nondescript breed, simple people who believe in truth and logic. When you speak, we watch you in your face to see if you're lying. Because you could lie with your mouth, but not with your eyes and your facial expression. We look at your demeanor. We look at the fluency of your speech. We look at how aggressive you become. You see, we could play poker. When you're playing all fours, you have to read a man's face to see if he's hiding the jack. So when you're watching an all fours player, you're watching to see if he have jack. And sometimes you see it on his face. You see the desperation, the irritation, the urgency, the fidgety. You watch his eyes, how he moving. You say he had a jack. I go, hang a jack. And sometimes you bluff him. You throw the ace, you throw the king because you had the queen waiting for the jack. But intellectuals don't know that. Because it doesn't demele in the rum shop. We does that. The Prime Minister of Grenada, you have to either speak and defend yourself. Speak and give up yourself or go in the rain. Take your steel beam and go. You told lies to us about Rwanda. You never had intention to go to Rwanda. You lie. You was well aware that the CDC had restriction or they provide information of the disease in Rwanda. You was not going there. You was ordered to go to Nigeria. So you have to tell us about the Black Acts. What is your involvement? At what level you are in? We always suspect that somebody sent it. Why? No corporate lawyer went to politics in the Caribbean. No corporate lawyer, no successful corporate lawyer went to politics in the Caribbean. Deacon get up and come in politics. Why? Deacon sold himself with deep pockets and contact. Now, who does that in politics? Never in the history of politics, no part of the world, anybody go in politics and sell themselves with deep pockets. Not even in Saudi Arabia. People go in politics to represent people, to seek interest. Sometimes they seek in the interest of the multinational corporation. Sometimes they seek in the interest of the privilegencia. Sometimes they seek in the interest of the people in the lower income group. Sometimes particular interest groups send them. In Caribbean politics, the majority of people are poor. They come from the lower income group. Who determines who poor in the country? The government of Grenada determines who is poor. If you ask anybody to determine who is poor in Grenada, they're going to tell you that. We have the poor and we have the destitute poor. So governments try to avoid the destitute poor. If your income is $3,000 or less in Grenada, you're poor. The government determined that by the policy. They don't charge you personal income tax. They say the money you're making is just to make you live. You could survive and thrive. But it is not enough to charge you personal income tax on because you're paying indirect tax. So you're paying same tax as a vagrant. You're paying same tax as a mad person. You're paying same tax as people who are not working. You say you're paying same tax as a loafer. You're not paying personal income tax. Once you pass the $3,000 threshold, you are called to pay personal income tax. That is one of the templates they use to determine the wealth you have or the income you have. If you own in $1,000 and less, you are destitute poor. I'm not talking about people who lying on their own. That is your income. Not to say you have a brother sending money to you. Or you're working for money, you have one income, but you're making money in the night that you can't tax. Use a night nurse. I'm not talking about if you're selling drugs. No. In every system, you're going to have a few people who could beat the system. If somebody's owning $1,000 and less, particularly a single parent person, and 60% of the household in Grenada are led by single parents, and the majority of them are women. Maybe 59% is women. So imagine a woman women doesn't make much children these days. 3, 4, 5 children. Owning less than $1,000 a month. And she's a single parent. Sometimes she don't have a straight man. Sometimes the children have different fathers. Sometimes my father good. And as soon as she jig, he get bad. I've heard a story where one father buying the chicken that has make people fat, they line up for it. I can't call it name. And he stopping with his car and call his child to come and eat the chicken with him. And the other children in the house watching. And she begged him not to do that. Because she only found out that because there was so much conflict with the other 3 children and this one. They beating him when he go back inside. Then she find out why. The father calling him to eat chicken outside. If you bring ice cream, he eat all in the car. When he go inside, the others cut his backside. And they're right. So these are poor people. Government, this is why government come in and provide assistance for the poor of the poor. You don't want beggars in the street. You don't want vagrants in the street. Vagrants in the street. You don't want people increase prostitution. If you have plenty poverty, you got prostitution. You think it's easy For a woman to have 5 children, no man, what she go feed them with? And the 2 other men boarding next door, they know she have 5 children. They know she don't want milk. What you expect? When your survival is threatened, your moral code of ethics deteriorate. It's a question of survival. So we come into a system, we decide to insult and chastise the poor. And this is a serious problem I have with NDC. They tolerate chastising, demeaning, ridiculing the poor of the poor. So-called poor. And it seems to propagate a new class. While we're doing that, we have a prime minister lying as when horse-trotting. So I'm sending out a message to the prime minister today. You either talk and defend yourself, you talk and give up yourself, or you take your steel beam and go. You go in the rain. You have to tell us what you went in Nigeria and do. You have to tell us who is the third party that is directing our foreign policy. You have to tell us about the Black Acts. What is your involvement in the Black Acts? Are you involved? You're the Prime Minister of Grenada. You are the first among equals. You're not ordinary minister. You can't be jumping on a plane and a friend call you and you go and you get that and all kind of nonsense. This is nonsense. You open the door wide to corruption. You were tolerated by your own members because they're embarrassed, they're shamed, they're disappointed. But the time has come. The day of reckoning has come. You have to tell us what involvement you are in with the Black Acts. And I encourage Grenadians to do research. Google. If you ask your children, they must do the research for you. Otherwise, don't give them money for the phone. Don't give them no money for the phone. This is hardball time. You call your little children and say, Google. And if they don't Google, say, no ice cream for you. And even the children in primary school, 8 years, know how to Google. Go in Wikipedia. They know. Find out about the Nigerian Black Acts. And Deacon must tell us if he is associated with it, if he is involved with it, or which organization have his head in the pocket. This is our Prime Minister. You could go back in history from the days of Gary. All of them had excesses. You could run your mouth on all of them. But you cannot say they were corrupt. You cannot advance evidence or arguments for corrupt. The NDC called Kit Mitchell corrupt. They bring in a forensic expert from Trinidad. They set up a whole team with lawyers. And they couldn't even get a traffic charge to charge Kit. If it was me, I'm charging him, even though it's for traffic. They couldn't even get a traffic charge, not even a seatbelt charge for Kit. The only person they charge for corruption in 5 years, under 5 years, was one of their own. And when the next government come in power, they say this is just maliciousness. There was no justification for that. And they got rid of the Attorney General for using government letterhead. And one of the workers, they could have told him not to do that. You know. When he come, he's so arrogant and disrespectful. He might come to fix those workers. So they say, let the fool use government letterhead to write his personality. And the third cabinet tell Tillman to fire. After he had dialogue with Tillman, and they come to some conclusion. What we are hearing, the second cabinet, not third, second cabinet, tell Tillman to fire. And Tillman is a pig-headed fella. When he head in one direction, those used to turn him. When a pig crossing the road, drivers have to know that. The pig doesn't turn back. So when you see a pig crossing the road, you have to either speed up to pass the road before the pig, or you slow down. Because the pig not turning back. Sheep, goat turning back. Donkey kicking you. But not pig. Tillman Thomas is pig-headed. Deacon Mitchell is going to turn an embarrassment for Grenada. So we have to insist. He either speak and defend himself, he speak and give up himself, or he take steel beam and go. He have to tell us what relationship he has with the Nigerian Black Axe. He has to inform us who is the third party that directing Grenada foreign policy. If the Prime Minister is now the foreign minister, it is better if you use the foreign minister, Mr. Joseph Andal, in education. Because this individual in education don't make sense. He took holiday in a crisis. This is an abomination. He done good already. But during a crisis, he took holiday. This is an abomination. So it would be better if Joseph Andal become the Minister of Education. He would command more respect. I think he was a teacher before. Just like this one that is a teacher. But he may command more respect in education. Right now, in foreign affairs, he's like a mama pool. The Prime Minister has removed his power. He has emasculated the foreign minister. In most countries, the foreign minister travels more than everybody else. Deacon is traveling more than the foreign minister. And he's not bringing the foreign minister someplace we're going. This is suspect. We must not close our eyes to reality. I always believe that Maurice Bishop could have been saved if Grenada didn't close their eyes. You know, they have a saying, where one person going cussing, you can go praying. Because Maurice Bishop was such a great orator, and Maurice Bishop was a handsome, tall, red man. All women like him. And Maurice Bishop was hot. So all men get hot. Maurice Bishop also spoke on topics, anti-capitalism that time, that was attractive to Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa. So, we tolerate his excesses. The writing was on the wall. Maurice Bishop went in Seamoon, in the People's Court, and they read out a warrant and sign a warrant for the arrest of Eric Gary while he was the Prime Minister of Grenada. And I think they gave Gary either 14 or 28 days to report to the nearest police station. Imagine that. The opposition went in Seamoon with thousands of people, read out a warrant for the arrest of the Prime Minister, and give him a time limit to report to the nearest police station. And when that deadline come, and Maurice Bishop come in Grenville, Gary supporters beat him. They should get him some more. The writing was there. While the demonstration was going on, a woman pointed out, oh God, the children with us, we cussing too much. They say this is the future, the flaws of the nation. The obscenities that they were using. Then, when they sing in this song, Gary, where are you? Gary, where are you? The level of obscenities that was using. Some people took objection to that. The writing was on the wall. The alliance had a barrage of lawyers. They made accusation right, left, and center against Gary, but they never take it to court. The writing was on the wall. We know it. Today, the writing is on the wall. From the time Dick Mitchell palpate that which was around the foreign minister neck in public, he and the foreign minister seems to fall out of favor. Remember the Somor Agreement. Mr. Joseph Andal was vociferously against the signing of that agreement. It says it's going to contradict the Constitution. He evoked revolutionary fervor to speak about it. Deacon said he didn't read the document. Instead of that, Deacon was chastising a Catholic priest that read the document. And Deacon said morality is a private thing. The writing is on the wall. We ignore it. The Prime Minister of Grenada, Dick Mitchell, flunked this 1973 regulation in the GDB Bank and raid the bank he and his support. They took loan from the bank. When I say raid, they took loan from the bank that it was not supposed to get. They could have gone in Parliament and changed the law. But it was so arrogant and took Grenadians for granted. They felt there was no need to change the law. We could just ignore the law. Look at what happened with the CBI program. Several members of the top echelons of the National Democratic Congress, including Dick Mitchell, the Foreign Minister, Andrea St. Bernard, it is rumored, it is said that they are agents selling passports. Then if that is a fact, who is going to guard the guards? Where are the check and balances? Are you the chief cook and bottle washer? The writing is on the wall. We ignore it. You heard about corruption in the National Lottery. The National Lottery was started in 1979. And the hypocrisy of it. Maurice Bishop don't believe in capitalism here, but he started National Lottery following St. Vincent. It's the first time we have heard that level of corruption. The minister was shocked. The minister had a lifeguard on him during campaign. He was shocked. He fired the individual. He was ordered to rescind the letter, like they were rescind. Take back the letter. And the minister get fired himself. It's the first time in the history of Grenada that a minister is fired and escorted by police. The writing is on the wall. We ignore it. Deacon Mitchell is traveling. I don't think he spent 2 weeks in Grenada without traveling. The last time I said that, a man disagreed with me. He tell me 14 days, not 2 weeks. So he's always on the plane. During the period of burial, I don't know if he rent, lend, or third party give him a helicopter. He want to travel so much, he had to be in the sky. The writing is on the wall. No. The day of reckoning has come. Deacon must let us know what involvement he have with the Black Axe. Deacon must prepare to expose himself to journalists that will ask him questions. He could take a practice. Go and sit down with Kalisha. Take a practice. Because I know she has the ability to probe. Take a practice. You must answer those questions. You are shaming your political activists. They quiet like a lamb. I have appealed to camaraderie. I have appealed to my brother Willie. We are called Frank about a change in mind. Got too much stress, my killer. I've turned to Rondell Robinson and the Bar Association. But I don't think they could bother with you. Maybe they afraid the Black Axe. So now our people must demand and make certain that Deacon tells us. You watch his reaction when he was, I believe, in GBN and then he's innocent or whatever. Look at his facial reaction. Look at his demeanor. Look how easily he gets agitated. Look at his eyes. He seems as a rat that was cornered. It is unacceptable. Deacon is the first among equal. He's the Prime Minister of Grenada. If he is hiding information and is venturing into questionable areas, he could leave Grenada with a burden that takes us decades to address. TUC Kawana. You always say, if you're not attentive, you go feed it in your belly. What is it Deacon have to give up to this third party that controls him? It seems to me that that party controls him. In 1967, we had statehood. And when we had statehood, we were given the authority by Britain to be responsible for our self-government. But foreign policy was no longer in our hand, was not in our hand. So when we got independence in 1974, now we were fully independent because we were controlling our foreign policy. Before 1974, from 1967, we had self-government. But we were not in control of our foreign policy. So after 1974, we could have gone to the OAS and joined the United Nations and joined different developmental organizations. And we could have bring in St. George's University. We couldn't do that before 1967. We couldn't do that before 1974. Are we giving up our independence? We spent $23 or $33 million for independence celebration. People don't know what we do. You see the ruckus, even national college children. It's the first time in history I hear these students asking about lab. I've never heard that in my history. And students just itch to demonstrate. When there's a student, grade have some tame students now. In the 70s, we itching to demonstrate. And we then demonstrate about rights, never about these things. You see teachers complaining about P. When we should not have a money problem, we have $100 million from Saudi Arabia. We have over $1 billion from selling passports. The government themselves said that the projection in the budget, they're getting more than they realize. We're getting money from the insurance because we insured for risk. Electricity get money. NASA get money. Government get money. We have 100 house units in Carriacou that the government refused to give the people that it was built for, it was destined for. This is robbery, violence. Who is counseling Deacon? There must be a third party, and it is in the interest of Grenadians to know what is at stake. There seems to be too much empirical evidence that something is in the matter beside the person. The unorthodox, unconventional, and illogical action by the Prime Minister. This is not a Prime Minister with experience. This is not a Prime Minister with a long history in politics. So you can't predict him, you don't know him. So Grenadians ought to be concerned of the third party that is directing the Prime Minister brain. By now you should convince that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he only have the name and he getting paid. He has been domesticated for public ridicule. I'm so disappointed that I believe the people in his constituency, they must be wearing a chair like Obama. Sorry, this is what he becomes. They could salvage some pride if they can take the post of foreign affairs. Nothing's wrong with that. Is Deacon that taking post? Why use Joseph Andal in such a vulgar manner? Joseph Andal have to turn a mama pole to tolerate that. But the time has come for the Prime Minister of Grenada to prepare to put himself in front of journalists that would ask him questions. I realized Innocent was sorry for it. And look at how he behaved in an individual that was not too prepared to probe and was very sympathetic towards it. It means there is something in the matter beside the person. What is it Grenadians want to ask? The revolution, the 4.5 years of the revolution, should make us more mature politically. The writing was on the wall. Maurice Bishop came on radio and he said some people is spreading rumor. And he said if you say they say, you're locking up they, you know. Everybody shut them up. Then Maurice Bishop told his security to go and spread a rumor that Bernard Code and his wife want to kill him. He told them the 3 person to tell. Go in Freedom Street. Tell Leslie. Tell the cook. I can't remember who is it all. The security told his cook. And they go in Butler House and report Maurice Bishop. When Maurice Bishop was confronted in Butler House, Bishop said that is not true. And they present the security that tell Maurice Bishop, you lie. You told me that. And Maurice Bishop couldn't open his mouth. The Prime Minister of Grenada. Maurice Bishop agreed with joint leadership. But we always heard that Fidel Castro tell him to accept that. So then he said he don't understand the workability. What hard about workability a big lawyer like Bishop don't understand? He don't understand the workability. When the vote took place in the Central Committee, Maurice Bishop abstained. What kind of leader is that? Abstaining on a fundamental issue. Only 3 persons supported was against joint leadership. Only 3 persons was against joint leadership. About 9 or 11 supported. So joint leadership is supposed to take place. They say Comrade Bishop is a petty bourgeois. He's a womanizer. He's lazy. He forget the activities of the party and the economy not doing well. So they say let the two comrades put their skills and talents together and work together. Maurice Bishop agree with it in principle, but later he don't understand the workability. But he evoked the Angola option. Next time you speak to Deacon, ask Calistra. Next time you get a chance to speak to Deacon, ask him what he know about the Angola option. Why is it the Prime Minister dabbling the occult? From the time I ban, I hear, may his soul rest in peace. When somebody died, they say, may his soul rest in peace. All incidents we hear in folklore, history, or yesteryear, where people were evoked, was trouble. Remember they had a song issue, they say they evoked somebody in Mali pasture, Mali cemetery. Why did Deacon choose to dabble in the occult? Is that not a writing on the wall? So I strongly of the view that the time has come when Deacon must answer questions. The country must demand that he answer questions. Maybe we have to turn to our children, because I realize he likes children, for the children to ask him about the Black Acts. So I advise people to encourage your children to Google the Nigerians' Black Acts. And next time Deacon come to school, ask him what part is he involved, or do they control his brain? When Deacon said he was going to Rwanda, but somebody end up in Nigeria, he lied. Doesn't make logic. It's not logical. Was he ordered to bring his family? Is the Black Axe threatening Deacon? Or the third party that directing our foreign affairs? When you listen to Deacon, is he crying out for help? Is he in trouble? And why is it members of his own party doesn't seem so help him? If we continue on that trajectory, what do you think would happen to Grenada in the next 2 years? Would we be the Caribbean islands might say, Lord, why Grenadians don't behave themselves? Why they don't behave? The time has come for us to ask questions. The time has come for us to get answer. If you notice, all the members of the government hiding, they're afraid to face simple questioning. They don't even want to go to Calistra to ask questions. Not even Calistra. Those ministers want to answer questions. You see, you can't control no journalists for long. The journalists have their own professionalism to secure and guide. They may give you a little blind. They may deal with you. They may be reasonable. But when you're going on the wrong track, nobody ain't going on with you. Deacon Mitchell, let me inform you, the Prince of Hate and the most fractious motivational speaker, they don't like you. They're not in your interest. They have their own personal agenda. And just now they're going to turn on you and help to destroy you. You just a means to the end. So we want to provoke discussion. We hear about the Black Acts. We experience our concern very early that we have a fake for a prime minister. We look at the vulture attitude he had, the level of hostility against the elderly, the physically challenged, even disadvantaged children was not spared. The caregivers, the Imanis, some teachers calling for pay. Imani can squeak. Some of them don't get paid, but they can squeak. The fact that Deacon is taking money from housing and give MIT. How could you do? These things don't make sense. You have a disaster. You have Ministry of Housing. But you're giving MIT money to build house. Well, how could that make sense? How we as a people could stand up in Grenada and lie down and sit down. And you watch the writing on the wall. We're not perfect. And bear in mind that this party, politically, are neophytes. So we understand that they're more likely to make rudimentary mistakes. But the direction they're going wrong. There is too much empirical evidence that the direction they're going is going to lead us into a big hole there, dogo down there. It's like you have your son in your house behaving badly, disrespecting the neighbors, disrespecting police. You hear he taking coke. Well, warn him, you're going to jail. And when you go in jail, the father don't bother you. The mother taking all she see and took her money to go and give a liar. And the liar want him go in jail too. We must face reality as a people. The Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, seems to be going on the wrong trajectory. If he know something we don't know, tell us. We're not little children. So explain to us where you're going. Sometimes you might have a good intention dealing with the Black Acts. Tell us. Tell us why he going and dabble in this area. We cannot trust Deacon because he don't have enough experience. He was a corporate lawyer. He wasn't even a defense lawyer. You know, some defense lawyer, some old women crying on their shoulder. And those lawyers putting water in their eyes because they have to get the money. The woman had to pay them. Sometimes they feel sorry for her. Not a corporate lawyer. They're in an air-conditioned desk just making deals. So we in Grenada need to be concerned. And the time has come for us to let the Prime Minister know he have to talk and defend himself. Talk and give up himself. Or take his steel beam and go. He have to go to journalists and would ask him questions. Journalists speak on behalf of our people. We could ask those questions here. But a journalist will be able to ask him directly. Deacon won't come on my program. I don't expect him to come, in all fairness. But he could let the journalist ask him. If he want Tobago journalists ask him, we could bring down Tobago journalists. But the Caribbean journalists, the time has come. You always like to come and help to invade, intervene, and rescue Grenada. In the 50s, St. Lucian police said that kill them people in St. David's. So now we encouraging the journalists. Our Prime Minister is going on the wrong trajectory. Find out from him. What is his role? What part he have in the Black Acts? And he should. And NDC moderates. Ask Deacon question. Those heavyweight money getting money. So they don't ask it. But you, the moderates in the different community, because they must come to you. Ask them if they are involved in the Black Acts. Make sure you research it first. Watch them in the eyes when they answering you. If they're blinking the line. Otherwise, we go pay for it with we belly. Our children going to pay for it. And this period we deal with pure politics. And we want to thank you for listening to our program on Studio Galaxy. We are the Galaxy Equalizers. And we encourage you to subscribe to our program. Share our program. Like our program. Even if you don't like the program, tell your friends you don't like the program. Share it with them and encourage them to subscribe. Thank you very much.